to Facebook and to YouTube to hang out today. We're having two wonderful interviews from our mentorship group that I'm doing this year in 2021. And the two that are landing today, Abigail Morales, who you met at noon Eastern Standard Time today, and Crystal Desai, who we're about to meet, both have these really deep, open, creative hearts. So no surprise that I ended up putting them on the same day. Hi, Samuel. Oh, shout out to Samuel Holland. Hi, another mentee in the group here to give support. Hi, me, myself, and I. No, hi, me, myself. Hi. Sheldon Stifle, hi, how are you? It's so good to have you here. And Shelly. I love when you guys are talking to each other. It's wonderful. Okay, so we could do this all day, but I would really like for you to meet Crystal Desai. She is an artist, a visual artist with a love for psychology and spirituality. And she does this by expressing her knowledge and her intuitiveness and her knowing through these creative projects. And she's working on one right now called Her Quest for Sweetness that I heard about during our mentorship when she was giving a passion talk. And it brought me to tears, not out of sadness, but out of this deep heart opening space. And I probably stayed in there, and she doesn't know this because I haven't talked to her about this, but I probably stayed in that space for about 3 or 4 days. And I kept going back to how she expresses this intense relationship that she has built between visual arts, creative projects, and psychology, and how she puts herself into it. I'm a big fan of art, color, and expression, but the way that she comes at it from her energy-centric standpoint just lights me up on all occasions. So I can't wait for you to meet her. She's been doing this for 5 years and hopefully for the rest of her lifetime. And we have Crystal. There you are.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Luminaires.
I like to pretend that you're right there. It's so good to see you.
You too. Hi, Samuel and Rachel.
Oh, is Rachel here? Yay! Oh, I love it. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. And it's Jamie S. She was part of our mentorship last year. Hi, Jamie. Before we get into conversations about your connection to this work and what it looks like, because you've given us permission to pull some of the pieces from your Instagram account. And if anybody is out there who is loving Instagram as a format, you got to get addicted to this. Head over to her. You have 2 Instagram pages. I'm throwing them out right away. One that you've just putting together that's going to hold all of your works called Tiny Earth Studio. And I'll post it for you guys in the thread. And the other one is Her Quest for Sweetness, which we're going to talk about. So you've given me permission to take some of those images and show them today to everybody. So I'm thrilled about that. But before we get into that, can you share a little bit about how you got into art, why art is fitting for you as a life passion or expression? And then let's just dive down some rabbit holes together.
Yeah, so I was drawn to art since a very early age. However, it wasn't exactly encouraged. I was always encouraged to choose something else, to pursue something else. So throughout my life, it was really kind of this battle for my passion. And over time, my relationship to art actually got pretty tarnished. Until pretty recently, whenever I sat down to make art, it came with a lot of heaviness. I felt like I was doing something wrong. It was hard to be present with it. It was hard to find joy in it. So a lot of my journey has been about healing that relationship and kind of embracing my natural gifts. And as I did that, and started to learn about spirituality as well, I started to realize that my connection to spirit is through my art. And before 5 or 6 years ago, when I went down this YouTube rabbit hole about spirituality. Before that, I really didn't consider myself spiritual. I pretty much thought most of it was woo-woo. But then I started to experience how when I felt inspiration, I could really feel that it was coming through me and not from me, that it was coming from a higher source.
So I'm just shooting here from the hip, but did you go to college? Did you study arts or?
Yeah, I did. I went to college. I did end up majoring in art and economics. I tried to resist the art for a while, but I remember this moment. I was on campus and I watched someone walk by who had clay all over themselves, like they had just come out of the ceramic studio. And I just had this moment of like, I want to look like that. Like I want to come out of the art building disheveled and just covered in paint, and signed up for art classes and was like, well, this is happening.
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps when you said that. I love it. But you have this infinity for psychology at the same time. How did you find that connection with psychology after being such an expressive, creative, visual person? I just don't, I can kind of grasp that spirituality connection to art as an expression, but I can't link really the psychology of it together. How did you find that?
Well, I've experienced a lot of anxiety and depression all throughout my life, like from childhood through college, after college, and it was a few years after college I was curled up on the couch and had that moment of realization that I needed help. Started going to psychotherapy and just loved it, like loved the process of it. Like I love just like digging into my own psychology and doing the inner work. It like feels like detective work. Like where does this wound come from? Let's figure it out. And it was like it was fun to me in a way. So it was just kind of it was this natural, it was this interest that I didn't realize I had until I started doing my own inner work.
I did not know that. But I do know that you're a very private person, and I think I've heard you describe yourself as an introvert and shy, and correct me if that is not accurate. And here you are today doing something that is very much outside of a comfort zone for someone of that nature. You know, going live and streaming and talking about internal processes and your artwork and so forth. Like I want to honor that and acknowledge that. And I'm just tickled pink that you feel safe enough or brave and bold enough, you know, to be here with us today. Because there's so many of us that crave that kind of understanding that there's somebody out there that's like me, you know, and if they're just watching people like me who I think came out an extrovert, which is like, what do you want to know? What do you want to see?
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, you can't always find yourself in some image like this. And now we have you. And I love it.
Yeah, well, you're an inspiration, and the Luminaires are such a lovely group of people. So, like that kind of that helps with the nervousness, and just seeing all the mentees from last time and from this round go through it. It's all just very inspiring and something I want to be a part of. And I do believe that you grow a lot, and the universe rewards you when you take risks and step out of your comfort zone. So that's always in the back of my mind. Like, the universe is going to be so proud of me if I just do this.
I am so proud of you if you're just going to continue doing this. So you came across this project that you are actively making into a book, and you've titled it Her Quest for Sweetness. Where did this come from, and what is it about?
Yeah, so Her Quest for Sweetness, the title just popped into my head one day. It was one of those sparks of inspiration. And I love how just in the title itself, it reflects that it's a journey, we're seeking, it's a quest. And it also adds that element of fun, you know, like a treasure hunt. And the sweetness is just kind of referring to like the sweetness of life, that nectar of life. And I'm not sure. I don't want to give too much away.
You don't need to. It was beautifully said.
But yeah, it becomes clear in the story like what the sweetness actually is.
Because you're taking this and you've created an Instagram account around it. I'm posting that now. And people are able to follow you on Instagram. Obviously, that's what it's for. But they'll follow along kind of in the making of the book or the storyline of the book. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm about to just really dive in into really starting to put the book together, like creating completed images, starting to pair them with words, and also using the characters and the universe of the story as kind of a framework to talk about mental health and emotional health and spirituality. So yeah, I would just love for people to like be there with me and be a part of the process. I love getting other people's input. It feels very collaborative to me in a way, which also has to do with the fact that it feels very channeled, like it feels like it's from spirit. I don't have like such an attachment to it. So it feels more like this is for us. I want to make something for all of us. I want your input. Yeah.
So you don't just work with paints, watercolors. Like you're, like you said, you have creative projects. You do multimedia. I've taken some of the images. Do you mind if we flip through them a little bit?
Sure. So.
I wanted to talk about this one first and foremost. It's outside of your quest for sweetness, expression, and storyline. And you had posted this in our mentorship group, and you were doing a little meditation and eye opening. And I am so attracted to this piece. I think I wrote you back and I was like, are you going to be selling these? Like, what size do you make these? And, which is another question I want to ask as well. But explain this one to us. How did this flower come out of you? What was it representing?
Yeah, so I sat down to do an intuitive watercolor painting with the intention of upper chakra healing. So I set my palette up with the greens and blues and purples, and I put on some meditation music that was for the upper chakras, an hour and 11 minutes, and just like started going and just let whatever wanted to come through. And then I ended up finishing the piece just as the music was ending, and it was really neat. It was like a really cool moment.
It just all wrapped up together?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Crystal, Jamie S. is sharing. I am so happy for you, Crystal. Yay, excited about your book journey. So I'm hoping, Jamie, head over to Instagram. You can follow her on her quest for sweetness for all the book details, but then head over to Tiny Earth Studio at Instagram, and that will be some of the artwork that we're kind of looking at today. And I have an infinity for birds. I call my office the bird nest. I'm just like birds. And then I came across some of these paper birds that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what is this? Where does this come from?
So when I started kind of tuning into my heart space and visualizing what was there, first, and this is earlier in my journey, I identified very much with it feeling hollow, like a hollow heart space, a feeling of emptiness. And I started to visualize these imprints. I call them imprints, and they take the shape of birds with these hazy watercolor painted over it that sometimes look kind of bruisey, and they represent woundedness in the heart space. So it's my way. It's a way to make these wounds tangible for me, and to kind of understand them and work with them. And So like the imprints themselves represent the woundedness, but then I create artwork around them that represents healing that woundedness.
Yeah, and you can see she has some of the images up about how she uses the birds, but I find it so intriguing. I would have never have thought that's where this came from. To me, it's such a beautiful, simple, streamlined shape. It says so much the way that you photograph the image about the bird looking up and off to the right, which is a very strong masculine standpoint. And the colors are all the spiritual self. They're complementary from yellow solar plexus to the crown chakra, complementary, faith, belief, and self and alignment. And to hear your description from it, I'm like, that blows my mind. I don't think I would have picked up on that's what motivated this to come out of you. I freaking love art. Please, if we could just communicate in art, I think we could express so much more than what the language provides us. Yay, your puppies are there. Dan Fulgham is asking, Crystal, do you ever use red ochre as a pigment?
I use mostly watercolor and ink. Yeah, I mean, as a color, I'm drawn to that color. I'm curious about, do you use red ochre as a pigment?
Yeah, Dan, you got to let us know. Yeah. And Rachel is sharing so much emotion in that image. I'm brought to tears. It's these beautiful, simple stream. It's just great. And then you have a multi, oh my gosh, I just lost the word. What's it called? Multi
media?
Media? I couldn't think of it. Multimedia piece. You have, what is here? You have papers?
Paper. Well, it's kind of collage paper. It's got ink, watercolor, acrylic paint.
Dan Fulgham wrote back and said, yes, I do use that color. And Myra Adams is sharing, I've recently started home staging businesses and I could use some of this artwork for my clients. So leads me to say, do you sell your pieces or do you have prints of your pieces? And if so, where can we find that?
Well, the shop is in the works. It's going to be on tinyearthstudio.com. But yeah, for sure, I'm getting a little shop together.
That's the shop, guys. So you can click on the link that just showed up in the chat thread, and that is the tinyearthstudio.com, and you can sign up for notifications. And when you do that, you'll get to hear when new works are coming out of crystals. It sounded like coming out of crystal. Coming out of you, your new work. And you'll also get to see the offerings because you're going to do commission pieces. So I can come to you, commission a piece, and how actually would that work? Would I tell you what I want? Would you sense it? How does that process happen?
I'm going to have different offerings listed. So there will be like an example of a type of painting or a type of artwork you're going to get, and it's going to have a certain intention. And they're going to be paired. It's going to vary from commission to commission, but it'll be paired with like a meditation for you. And or I'll, for the larger commissions, I'll meet with you on Zoom and have a little chat with you. And so you can bring your intuitive self into the process as well. And then I'll kind of intuitively create a work of art for you.
Okay, good. Let's step back. I got to put this into piece, right? Sarah R. is going, Crystal is an amazing creative being. When you do commissions, you said you have large, medium, so there's different sizes, but you just said you pair them with meditation. So you create a meditation that goes along with the artwork?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the one of them one of the ones I'm probably going to offer really soon is a cosmic heart garden. So visualizing a gorgeous garden in your heart space. And so I would meet with you on Zoom. We would talk a little bit about what you feel you want to be in it. I'll tell you about the how I use that visualization in my life and kind of share that with you. And after creating the piece, I'll send you a meditation that goes with it so you can listen to the meditation, look at the piece, and create that connection with it. So then whenever you see it, it'll take you back to what the meditation was about.
That is so incredible. So would that be audio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that. And then are you going to do small commission pieces?
Yeah, there will be a variety. Smaller ones, 6x6 type, and then also larger that'll like look good on your wall.
I want to do that. I can't wait for this to be up and ready to go. I'm really excited about that. We have so many wonderful statements. Even Dan is following back up about the red ochre. He says it's a sacred color, so be careful. Like, he's really cherishing it. And shout out to Shelly Ham. She's giving us a little financial love and energy over on YouTube with our Luminaires. And she's saying, thanks for introducing us to so many talented and wonderful people. And Crystal, that is exactly where you fall in. I wanted to go back. Can we show more images?
Yeah.
This piece is from her Quest from Sweetness. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
that's the main character in her Quest for Sweetness. She's a glass pony, and this picture is reflecting the moment where she's open and allowing light to come in through her and rest in her heart space. She's starting to build and expand her own light.
the story of this and the book. Oh, what happened here? That's not in the images. Nope. We'll do it this way. I'll learn the system well enough soon. And this is also in her Quest for Sweetness.
Yeah, that's another character from the story. He's called the archaeologist. And yeah, he and the glass pony worked together for a while, trying to solve some of the world's problems in a way. They find animals washed up, sea stars washed up on a beach, and they work together to try to heal them and fix them.
I love how whimsical your art pieces are, and some of them are just so kind of a real to life expression with like different color variations. You're overall, but you can see exactly your touch in it. I love this piece. Do you know my favorite thing about this? Are these guys. Come on.
I like them too.
I had to bring this up before Crystal and I even came on to talk today, and I was like, please tell me what these are because I'm massively in love with them. Please don't tell me there's something really, really awful and bad. Look at them, how cute they are. I'll go back. This is the larger image.
Yes, that's an intuitive painting I did on it was 11/11/20. 11/11/2020. I remember the date. Yeah, I just kind of sat down and tried to allow whatever wanted to come through. I was like, all right, I'm doing these abstract watercolors, and then just kind of like going with the flow. Like this purple part, I feel like it needs to be a hand, drawing the hand in, and then like this part's kind of looking like a rainbow, and then just being like, oh my gosh, it's a monster, it's a rainbow monster. And it's like such a surprise to me as well. It's like a really fun process to just kind of like let spirit take the wheel. But yeah, now I love this character. I want to like do more versions of it.
Please, especially with these guys. And this is the glass pony.
Yeah, that's a sketch of her further along in her journey. When we first meet her, she's so full of this kind of anxiety and discomfort that when we look at her, we just see kind of swirls of darkness. But as she heals herself and is being transformed, she starts to kind of clear up, and we get to see what a vibrant inner world she actually has.
So cool. I mean, nicely done to where you didn't give away too much, but I'm really grateful that you took some time just to talk about the little pieces and so forth, because I don't want to take away too much. But the experience that you get over on Instagram, you share a little bit, but it's in writing. You can read it in the tone that you need, and then you're sitting down with this image, and you can absorb from it kind of what you require to heal for the day. And I really like it. It's a quiet, like self-healing journey just by being the follower on Instagram. Yeah. Rachel saying, I love those eyes. I know, on the little shadow creatures, they're just so cute. Sarah Hias is saying, this was a lovely talk. Wonderful getting to know you and your beautiful artwork more. I keep telling her style is so unique and magical. Keep sharing with us. This is a big step in sharing today. It was absolutely wonderful. So our big thing Abiel is here. Hi. He's also in our mentorship. Self-healing. That's it. A big thing is that I wanted people to get a glimpse of you. I feel like you're one of our hidden treasures that if you weren't brave enough that one day to step out and say, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to join this community, I'm going to speak up, then I'm saddened to think about that I might not have seen what you can create. And I'm just so grateful that you're here, and asking luminaires to head over to tinyearthstudio.com. Just sign up for the newsletter, click follow, and witness, because when she comes out with this book and she lands this, it's definitely going to be someone where we're like, okay, I remember when she was figuring it out, when she was letting spirit channel through her and put it onto paper and get totally aligned. It's just an incredible place to be, to witness what you're doing. I'm so grateful for you. So I love, at the end of our talks, asking this one question. And some people usually have it together. Some people go, no, I don't really have something. But do you have a golden nugget that you really cherish, like a affirmation, a mantra, this kind of go-to self-boosting thing that you do that you could possibly share with us?
Yeah, so what I've often come back to is remembering how much I have the power to choose. As we pursue our path and purpose, we're going to have self-doubt. We're going to have those voices that want to keep us small, but we're also going to have these sparks of light that come through. And especially earlier in our journeys, the dark voices are going to be louder, much louder, but that doesn't make them more real. Like Abiel was saying earlier today, we're biased towards negativity. And underneath it all, those voices are pretty much trying to keep us safe. So we can have awareness of all of it, acknowledge those voices, have compassion for that part of ourselves, but then say, thanks, but no thanks. And remember that as creators, we have the power to choose what's real by choosing where to choosing where to put our faith and take action towards. Our belief in it is what makes it real. So yeah, just don't be afraid to choose the light even when that voice is just a whisper.
And you are the perfect example for that. Thank you so much for today. Like, my body feels really calm. My mind is just super clear. And I just really appreciate this. Skinny Robert is saying thank you. So is Dan.
Thank you.
S, who already signed up on your website, is saying thank you. Sarah Rahia is saying, I cannot wait for this book to come out. And Colleen, thank you so much for reminding. If you like today's content, please like. If you're here and this is the first time you're here and you're like, okay, I like their approach, we'd love to have you subscribe and follow. If you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell. I'm often here Friday afternoons, but I'm going to be hanging out here tomorrow for 2 more interviews with our mentorship group that is coming out that Crystal is participating in. We're going to be talking to Pam Warren, who is a medicine woman, and we're going to be talking to Rachel Ashbury? No, Rachel, how funny that I cannot say her last name right now. She's over on Lemurian Arc, Rachel, in our chat thread, and she is an intuitive animal communicator who also paints animals' auras. So it's creativity abounds, and I can't wait to just bring it all out and show you more. So Luminaires, thank you for lending us your eyes, your ears, your presence today, your time, so that Crystal and I can hold this conversation and crack you open just a little bit more, let you know there's a little bit more magic out in the world. You can find it at tinyearthstudios.com or Her Quest for Sweetness on Instagram. Go back into the chat thread, you can find the links. And Vina Chalice, who is also in the mentor group, she's shouting out, hi, Crystal. I can kind of see her with both hands waving. That's what my vision of you, Vina, is this. Hi. Ashby, there's no R in it, is there, Rachel? I wanted to put an R in it for some reason. I hope you're giggling. Rachel Ashby. Crystal can even say that I ask for tutorials on how to name pronounce. I was like, Crystal, is it Desai? She's like, no, it's a little softer. It's Desai. Did I get it right? Desai. Oh, thank you so much again, Crystal, for being here.
Thank you.
Bye, Luminaires. Take care.